Hi there. I'm just going to show you a little bit about how I prepare my boards, my cradled boards for gluing on watercolor paper so that I can do a watercolor and the undercoats that I like to do before I start encaustics. So these are, I purchased my cradled boards, which are, this particular one is 12 by 12 by 1 5/8 thick. They're American Easel, that's the brand, and I ordered them through, you can get them through almost any artist outlet store. So this is what I like to use. I think they're well made, and it's good for the money. So I like to tape off the edges, and the reason for me is it just makes it an easy, clean finish. Not all artists like to do this. I'm just going to finish this piece by putting on the last couple of strips of painter's tape. I love painter's tape. I use painter's tape. I go through so much, but it does help in time consumption. I use this to get around the edges, which is 1.5, or maybe this is a 2-inch. So it goes around the edge and then wraps a little bit, and then I like to not keep the back messy, so I cover that as well. So this is how I start, and I will be doing 3 panels. And what I like to do is I use 140-pound hot press watercolor paper. That way I can do my sketching and watercolor and calligraphy with it on a smooth surface. So that's a little easier to work with than the texture of a cold press. So what I like to do is I use Mod Podge. I found that's just a really very fine way of gluing down the paper, and it's very consistently glues as long as your brush doesn't lose its fuzzies in there like this. So I put this on, I get it pretty even, kind of thick, not too thick because I don't want it to, bubble up much. And I see that my Mod Podge and my brush are giving me a little trouble here. But I will put this on. And keep it, like I said, get it, get all the way around, evenly spread. Anything that's foreign, like this foam on my brush, I will get right before I press this down. Now that's pretty good. Okay, here's this piece, this one. Yeah, I thought I had a really good brush here. So expect some challenges, I guess, when you do this. Okay, so almost have these out. There we go. And then see if I can, without making another mess, just kind of smooth this out where I've been. Still see another couple pieces here. Even the Mod Podge has some clumps, so you don't want any of that in there. I don't know what this is. This looks like a flaw in the wood itself. So get that out, mostly. Seems to be kind of coming up. Okay, so we got that. All right, so then what I like to do is I cut my sheets so they're just a little larger than what I'm going to be adhering to. That way I have room, wiggle room. Okay, pressing it down. Then what I like to do is I buy waxed paper, so you can like I get it at Costco, so you can get it at many places. Of course, these aren't quite big enough, so I get 2 sheets out. It's protection so that the paper doesn't get colored, but then I I use my good old speedball brayer from college. It's ancient, one of the best purchases I ever made. I use it all the time and it doesn't seem to wear out like some of the newer ones. So I just kind of keep doing this because I really want it bubble free and totally flat. Once I get that, I will do all of them that way. And that feels good to me. Then I like to do this at the end. Now, just to make sure my hands are clean, I mean, just so I don't do anything, I like to bend over the edges just a little bit. That just makes me feel a little better about how well it's adhering. And I just bend all the way around. And you can see one side's already kind of curling up, so it doesn't have the connection yet until I get this. It has the glue, that's fine, but you know, it's tending to come up a little bit. So the next thing I do is I will do all of the panels, and they will be, then I take and put the wax paper between each panel just to make sure that everything is not sticking to the next one. So I will be stacking them like this, front to front, back to back, and then in the end I will weight it all down. So that's how I do prep with mounting watercolor paper to my boards.